All right, we are recording. Let's just give it, we're gonna start in about 2 to 3 minutes. Let's just see if everyone else shows up. Janely, can you hear me? Anthony, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor.
Oh, good, okay. Awesome, just wanna make sure people are there, great. All right, we'll give it like another couple minutes and then we'll start. So I just sent everybody the PowerPoint slides. So in your NECC email, you should have got an email from me just now. I have the slides that we're going to review along with some reference materials. So for the reference material, we have what do we have? We have a few different websites where we are talking about where they talk about question 1. So take a look at that, and then we'll just give another 2 minutes and see if everyone else shows up for the meeting today. All right, I think what we're gonna probably do is get started. So let me share my screen. We're missing a few people. So it's gonna be difficult to get into groups. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll probably assign some groups based on this invite. I'm just gonna wait one more second just to make sure everyone's connected. Yeah, looks like we're connected. All right, so let me share my screen. So what are we talking about today? So here are some slides that I just sent to everybody. And basically what I'm going to talk about is question 1. So the idea is that we'll go a little bit over question 1 today. This will be on the ballot on November 8th. With this project, the goal is that I'm going to put together these slides, which I shared with you. I'm going to present at the Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, the 26th, the first few minutes of the slide. So we'll go over that today. And then what I'd like to do is break into groups. And in those groups, we'll have a yes group and a no group. And then that group could just add to the slides I just sent. So everybody on this email, everybody that is looking or seeing this recording that couldn't attend today, we'll be seeing the slides related to question 1. So what is question 1? So just as an overview, the current tax rate in Massachusetts, we have a flat income tax of 5%, meaning regardless of the income earned for an individual, the tax rate is roughly 5%. Now, there is a threshold to get in. You have to earn a certain amount of income to qualify for that 5% flat tax rate. But it's a flat tax, meaning it applies to all income levels. Most states have what we call a progressive tax. And if you have never heard the term progressive tax before, progressive tax simply means as the income increases, your percentage of taxes paid will also increase. So on the federal side, we have tax brackets, and the tax brackets are based on income ranges. And as you move up in income to different income tax brackets, you pay the incremental tax in that range. So you move up as you move up in your taxes. If you made 100 grand a year, based on the tax brackets and based on the ranges, you pay a tax in each range until you get to your upper level, right? So most states, and on a federal basis, it's a progressive tax system. Massachusetts has a flat tax, meaning if you earn higher income, your percentage of tax is a is that flat rate. A brief history. So dating back to 1915, there's been several attempts to modify this flat tax and to add some sort of incremental progressive tax component to the mass tax system. So there were 6 attempts going back to 1915. 5 of the attempts, which we're not going to talk about, were defeated as a ballot initiative by a wide margin. The 6th attempt we'll talk about on the next slide because it's recent. The most recent attempt in 2018 was delayed. There was an initiative to put this question on the ballot in 2018 to apply what we call a millionaire's tax, right? Meaning that if you earn income over $1 million, that incremental income over the $1 million would be taxed at a certain percentage. And that ballot initiative that was trying to put onto a ballot that started in 2018, there was an appeal. It went to the Supreme Court in Massachusetts, and the Supreme Court paused that amendment or that ballot initiative for a few months because there's a rule in Massachusetts that in order to get on a ballot initiative, right, there has to be this relatable issue. So the tax, it has to have a related benefit, and the Supreme Court ruled that there was no related benefit. There was no connection between the tax increase and the programs that the suggested tax would apply to. That was later on, and that appeal actually held up. In 2019, Representative James O'Day proposed a constitutional amendment, which is slightly different than from the initial initiative on the legislation of the legislative amendment. Also was appealed, went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in 2022 in favor of the ballot proposal. What does all this mean? This is a bunch of legal history on how we got to this ballot initiative coming up and whether or not to vote for this millionaire's tax. So there were 6 attempts, and it took the 6th one to finally reach the Supreme Court and won on appeal. So we do have because of this history and because of this appeal and because of the Supreme Court decision, we now have a proposal, and on the ballot is question 1, and question 1 would actually change the state constitution, right? And by changing the state constitution, we create an additional tax on all income earned above $1 million. So it's an additional 4% tax on income earned above $1 million. And the around this proposal on this question is that the funds received for this tax, so the tax revenue, would be used for public education and transportation, right? Which are both popular initiatives. But if we look at this question a little bit more detail, we'll see that while the funds are suggested to be applied to these initiatives, the state can appropriate the funds really to different programs as needed. So what are the main points for this tax? The tax will create an additional 4% tax on any income above 1 million. So any income below 1 million will be taxed at the 5% rate. Income above 1 million, the incremental increase will be at the 4%. So if you earned an income of 1.5 million, 1 million would be taxed at the 5% rate. And then the 500,000 that's incremental to that, that 1 million would be taxed at the 4% rate, right? So the total tax rate on income above the million would actually be that 9%, because it's the 5 plus the 4%. And this amendment also makes this additional tax, there's a cost of living adjustment, meaning that it adjusts for inflation. And if this gets voted into in November, then the tax would take effect on January 1st, 2023. So a yes vote would support amending the state constitution and create an additional tax of 4% for income over 1 million, in addition to the 5% flat tax rate, so 9%. And then a no vote would oppose this amendment to the constitution. It would keep the 5% flat tax. So that's really what is at stake here. I'm gonna keep sharing this for a minute. So at this point in the presentation, I would stop and I would turn it over to the two groups. And in the slides that I sent you, I kind of have a template already built. So we have the why yes, right? And the why yes, I have a template built, the why yes slides, and there's about 8 of these. And we have a heading for each slide and some bullets, and you can add content. You don't need to fill all 8 slides, but they're there just in case you need them. And the idea is that you would fill these out, save it, and send the slides back to me. And the same for the no camp. So whoever is a no will have the same thing. Question 1, why no? There'll be a bunch of slides, and then we'll have a conclusion. You'll save it, you'll send it back to me, and then we'll have one presentation. So that's how the presentation will go. That same overview that you saw that I just gave, we'll talk about there. Once we go through the presentation, you give me back the yeses and nos. Each group will talk for about 10 minutes or so on their position. So I'll talk for 10 minutes. You'll talk for 10 minutes. That's 30 minutes in. And then we'll save the next 30 minutes for discussion. And then in addition, I'll probably add some brief slides on the other ballot questions, maybe to fill some time in at the end. So that's the way the project's going to go. If you're going to participate, you definitely need to be available either via Zoom. You need to be available in the Business Center in room 201, or you need to be available in Haverhill in room 251. So my intro class, it's the same classroom that we have there. You also need to sign up. I already sent the links in the class, and if I can send them again, you have to sign up for the event. We have about 4 or 5 people on the call today. I think we had about 15 people sign up. So a lot of people will be seeing this via recording. So they'll have to sign up into groups. So given that we only have a few people, I need to set up a captains for each group. And as group captain, all you really need to do is assemble your group, go over the material that I sent you. I sent about 6 different links that talks about the pros and cons for each side of the issue. You can also find additional material. Hold on, let's let Jaden. Jade, good thing we didn't wait for you. Oh, we lost Jade. Okay, so I was going to nominate captains. Oh, Jade's back. Here we go. Let's see if Jade joins. Jade, good thing. Now? Yeah, I can hear you. Good. We were going to wait. Good thing we didn't wait for you. We would have been here till midnight.
It wasn't working.
I'm only kidding.
Sorry.
So you missed it. I recorded this, so on your email you'll see a whole recording on the project, because we're kind of at the end. But what I do need to do is break off into 2 different groups. So I'm wondering this, because Jade, you actually joined to the last minute, but I know that you are a yes person, right?
Right.
Would you be willing to be captain for the yes team?
Yeah, I'll be captain.
So I'm going to respond to the email thread that we have going around saying, if you want to be on Jade's yes team, please email Let's see. I'm trying to think how we'll do this. So Jade, you'll be captain for the yes team. And then James, you're here in the room with me.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the no team?
Yes, sure.
All you have to do is just organize your team meeting and go over all the points.
All right, yeah.
Okay. So James is going to be on the no team. So what I'll do is I'll send out an email. We'll break off into teams. And then Jade, I just told everybody, everyone just heard this. I sent out like 6 links talking about this question 1 with all sorts of different talking points. And I also sent out the slide deck with like blank slides so you can fill them in. So all you really need to do as a group is read the links, discuss your points, fill out as many slides as you can, save it and send the slides back to me. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so between now and then you have to set up a meeting. So I'll send out the recording to this meeting. Jade and James are going to be the captains. If anyone wants to be an assistant captain to help out, feel free, but I don't think this is going to be too much work. It's really just meeting as a group, reading the links beforehand, coming up with your talking points so that you're ready for the presentation, whether you do it in person or via Zoom. How's that sound?
I think that sounds good.
Awesome. James, sounds good to you? All right, we have Joe and Janalee. Does that sound good to you, to both of you on the phone?
That sounds good.
Awesome. Janalee, I saw that. Thank you. And then Anthony was here as well. Then it dropped out. And I know we're missing a few people. So look for my email on breaking off into groups. Your captain will set up a meeting. Jade, you know how to use Zoom, right? Do you have a Zoom account?
Yeah, I do. I try to do it right now. I'm using my phone. That's why I was having a hard time because I usually do it on my computer.
I'm trying to think, maybe what I'll do is this, because we're making this up as we go. Maybe I'll work with the team captains to set up a time on my Zoom. So maybe I should be there as we talk about it, right?
Yeah, to make sure we're staying on topic.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so James, I'll set that up. You heard that. And then the teams will just kind of make sure that things move along and that we fill out the slides. All right, I think we have a plan. Watch for my email and recording today. And then we will all get together next week and finalize the project. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I'm excited. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye.